Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Jefferson Spillman, and I manage a place that used to be called Murphy's Landing, but now it's called The Landing. So how many of you all have ever heard or been to Valley Fair before? Okay. I started off with that one first because most people have heard of that. We're right next door to them. So how many of you all have ever visited or heard of The Landing down in Shakopee? Excellent. Very good. Very good. And so our opportunities that we have, we live in the world of the 1800s. And this is a cultural anthropology class, so it's important to know that in the 1800s, in what's now the state of Minnesota, in 1800, the population was mostly American Indians and fur traders. And by the 1900, there were over 1.3 million people living in the state of Minnesota. So when you think about immigration today in the 21st century of Minnesota, the 1800s in this state saw a tremendous influx of people, mostly from America, like the Eastern Seaboard, and also from Europe. And so some of the things that immigrants today experience, people in the 19th century experienced some of that, a new culture, learning new languages, and things of that nature. And we have several opportunities up here, but before I get to the opportunities, I did bring my harmonica, because I know Casey likes the musical accompaniment. Some of you all are musicians in the audience, right? You like music? Okay. So people of the 1800s, whether they were settlers or the American Indians, also liked music. In this case, I brought a harmonica. So this is something you might have seen or heard along the river, as the steamboats were moving around. And I will play O Susanna. So O Susanna, a very popular tune from the time. And we have other musicians who come out to the landing throughout the year who are much more talented than me. But in a time before radios and TV, you often had to make your own entertainment. So the opportunities that we have that you see listed, the first one here is a research assistant. We have 2 positions available. And as mentioned, the cultural aspects of life in Minnesota, whether before statehood or after, is a fascinating subject. Lots of people here. And English wasn't the dominant language in 1800. You had to speak French if you wanted to go anywhere, or Dakota or Ojibwa. And so we have some suggested topics, like the role of women in the creation of the state of Minnesota, the relationships between the Dakota people and the settlers. And I say the Dakota because where we are on the Minnesota River, that's who lived on that land when the settlement arrived. Also, additional topics of the 19th century. Over the past few years, some of the students from Normandale have written on political issues, the Civil War. There's a broad range. We're not going to tell you exactly what to write, but we can encourage you, and it should be a subject that you want to explore more. And if it ties in with what you're learning here in class with Casey, that's even better. So 2 positions available. The end of it, as you can see, is to write a paper of 5 pages. We're not going to publish it, so we want some good writing technique and some good sources. And what we do with that information is then we have volunteers and we have employees who can read that and perhaps gain some more information. So it saves them time when they do programs for our guests. So 2 positions for the research assistant. The next one down is the education assistant. And this is one that we've seen more Normandale students do for us. So we have school groups that come out in the spring. In particular, in March is our maple syrup program. So we have several school days, and we even have a public day. Now, we don't expect the students here to dress up in the historic clothing. If you want, you can, and we can make arrangements. But you can get immersed in some of the daily activity of people of the 1800s. And so it could be everything from learning how to take sap and make sugar, or take sugar and make syrup. Also, some of the life ways of the settlers out there. We don't spend a lot of time bringing the life ways of the Dakota people to life because the Shakopee Medwakaton, who are just south of us, would prefer that we not. And none of our staff are Dakota, so out of respect to them, we allow them to bring their cultural ways to life. So we focus mostly on the settlers. And so part of the maple syrup program, as mentioned, is just bringing to life the farming techniques and things of that nature that people in the 1800s would do. And so we have 2 positions available there. And I think this class ends in April, May? First week of May. Okay, so that leads us right up to the edge of our May school season. Just like with some of the other speakers that were here, if you want to stay on and volunteer beyond your initial stint, we'd be happy to have you there. We have in the past hired some Normandale students to be seasonal employees. Right now we've kind of filled all of our positions, but it is something that we have seen. And we've had some very good success over the years, and the students that we've seen at the landing have enjoyed the opportunity. And we've seen all kinds of students over the last 5 or 6 years or so. Some other things to know is that the landing is a part of the Three Rivers Park District. And so annually, the Three Rivers Park District hires over 800 seasonal employees, everywhere from the landing to the ski hill here at Highland to other opportunities. So this could be a window for a summer employment for you, or even a career if you're looking at recreation careers, nature, forestry, things of that nature. So there's a very large world that the landing lives in within the Three Rivers Park District. So questions you might have of me about the landing, the opportunities, or the Park District? All right. Well, on that note, thanks, Casey, for having me here. Yeah, very good.